censored. We're gonna get right into this show today, but before we do, you gotta handle the business. So um thank you for tuning in. Anything I say on this show is for strictly entertainment purposes only. That is it. So do whatever you want to do with the information. It is up to you. So let's get right on into the show. Today I'm talking to you about a follow-up from my Monday show. Just to bring you all up to, you know, what I was talking about. I was basically talking about Kandi Burroughs and her leaving the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Initially, it was stated that she was fired. Then it was stated that she quit. I mean, nobody really knew for sure, but the insiders. All right, so that's why I always say allegedly, because you just never know out here. So basically, I was listening to these streets, and Kandi, of course, it stated that she quit. But people say one thing and really it's other things that really happen. But I was listening to Carlos King, and Carlos King is one of these people who are like really hot when it comes to reality TV. I mean, he's really out here in these streets. He's an executive producer on a lot of different shows. And for instance, he was actually one of the executive producers behind Real Housewives of Atlanta when it first hit these streets. And he's also behind, what is it? Love and Marriage Detroit. My favorite show, Love and Marriage Huntsville, among other shows, right? So when it comes to something that he says, I'm kind of like leaning more in the direction of believing it, because I feel like he's connected. He knows exactly what he's talking about. So I was listening and I heard him speak about the Kandi Burroughs situation. And he stated that, Kandi did not get fired. She did not get fired. She actually quit. She decided to walk away from the contract. Well, I get it. Kandi is one of the longtime OGs of the Real Housewives of Atlanta, and she probably did not like the contract. She probably didn't like what they was offering her. Carlos also stated that she was kind of waiting around for the executives to kind of come to her with a decent contract, things that she can live with, I guess. And I guess at the end of the day, she just didn't like what they was offering. I get it. In a lot of these companies, especially in corporate America, but it wouldn't really apply to Candy them because they're probably more contract. So what it is for them is that they look at what they're offering, the money, the demands, and all of that, and then they make their determination on whether or not they want to continue to be a part of the show. Well, it's my understanding that they, for one, was taking a long time to get back with her on the contract. That's number one. And number two, when the contract was presented, she wasn't really feeling, I'm sure, all of the demands that were in there. Now, like I was going to say, it's the same thing with business. When you're working in corporate America, when they don't really want you around anymore, or they're trying to find a way to get you out of there, they stop inviting you to things, or they stop giving you really good raises or bonuses. They find everything that you're doing wrong, nothing you're doing right. So they find a way to nudge you out because they don't want to pay your workman's comp most of the time. Okay. But with them, because they're a contract, that's not an issue. But what they do is they be like, okay, you're not bringing the numbers in like you once were. So I may have to pay somebody else to do this, or they may cut their screen time back, or they may do different things of that type, thing to kind of nudge them out. Because when it comes to Kandi Burroughs, as much I don't know her personally, of course, but what I do know about Kandi is that she don't leave no coins on the table, right? She does not leave no coins on the table. She said it out of her own mouth. When it comes to that, she don't leave no checks and no coins behind. So if she walked away, then it must be something she really could not live with. Now, this is my thing. Carlos was stating that, well, let me just retrack a little bit. When it comes to, in my opinion, the decision that was made, like I said, to nudge her on out of there, I don't think it was a bad decision. This is why. Of course, we all know Kandi has been on Real Housewives of Atlanta for, I think Carlos stated it was like 14 years, but she won't be returning this upcoming season. So my thing is, she's been there a while. When she first came on the scene, she was talking about her, at that time, fiance. That was one major thing. She came with, she was a Grammy Award winning artist. she writes. She had a lot she was bringing. She was younger, feisty. Her and Nene got into it. Nene was one of the people that was well respected at the time, and so she was a new face, and she was known, and so that's like bringing people on. People want to see Kandi within the group, right? So she had a different energy, a different vibe she was bringing to the show at that time. You feel me? But as time go on, and you are there on that show, you gotta be able to give the listeners and viewers what they really want to see. Basically, drama. You got to be interesting. You got to come with it. And when those things are not the same, the producers are like, hey, those numbers are not the same. So people are not looking at us. The numbers are falling. So we got to make some adjustments. Now, let me tell you this, you can expect them to pay you the same things today that they were paying you yesterday when they're not making the advertising dollars, the ratings are dropping, and things have changed. So, you kind of have to kind of take those things under consideration. I, of course, don't know the dynamics, the full dynamics of what happened, but companies about making money. If it ain't making no money, it's not making sense. So even though you are a person that has been on the show a long time, if your storyline is not keeping the interest and attention of the audience, they have to make other decisions because they have to either pay the crew more that's bringing in the viewers, and people seem to be most interested in what they got going on, or you're gonna have to bring in some new faces and some new blood. And when it comes to Real Housewives of Atlanta, I was one of their top fans because I love reality TV. But I live in the suburbs of Atlanta, and to me, that's like paying homage, right? I used to be waiting for them when they first came in, when Nene and Sheree and all them were hot and on the show. I used to be waiting for them to actually come and start the show. I would even watch the reruns on the show. I have not watched the rerun on that show. As a matter of fact, I have not even watched the show, and I don't know how long, because there's the whole vibe of reality TV. Like when they first came out, it's changing. Those millennials, when they hitting the set, they willing to go all the way in, honey. They talking about this and that, and they not conservative, honey. They giving it all. Because they have less to like be reserved about. So they going all the way in. So if you are an existing, like what they consider OG of the show, unless you're willing to come in and give that kind of thing, you're gonna be boring, because you're looking at all these up. You got Basketball Wives, Orlando, that's good, but that's a new generation. Then you have all these other shows. You have Real Housewives of Potomac. You just got so many different versions of reality shows that are not like the soap operas back in the day, where it's okay to have Nikki and all those different people doing the same thing in the slow Bible thing. No, it's different. So if you are an OG, you got to come in there and you got to let go, or you're gonna be merged out, or should I say, what I consider nudging. And the way they do it is in the contract, baby. When the contract hits the table, bam, if it ain't what you like, we gonna negotiate, right? Your management team gonna get in there and negotiate. And at the end of the day, we can't agree. You know what? Most people gonna bounce. Now, when it comes to Kandi, Kandi is one of those people who made good use of her time on reality TV. She really made good use of her time because she opened different businesses. She has a studio that I'm sure she could do anything. She could record her own shows if she want to. So she really made good decisions while she was on there. But when I was listening to Carlos King, and by the way, I'm gonna mention Mariah, and just to talk about her for a minute, Mariah was a reality star OG. She was also an executive producer of Married to Medicine. Now, when Married to Medicine first hit the scene, she was a wife. Her husband is a doctor. That was kind of like the whole vibe, right? What it's like being married to a doctor, and what the wives do, and what's going on, la 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 la. So at some point, just moving forward, they want to get Mariah out of the show. And her and Quad, they went all the way back. Like, Quad was another lady that was married to Gregory, who's now married to Sweet Tea, which is my new girl. But she was one of the ones that kind of was instrumental in helping to nudge or create that narrative to nudge Mariah out. Now, I always thought initially Mariah was just a housewife. But later on, I found out that she was not just a housewife. She was actually she was the founder of that particular program. She got the girls together. That was her idea. That was her baby. But you would never know that. That did not come to light until she was being nudged off of the show. When they nudged her on out of the way, I don't know if it was jealousy or what was going on with that, that's when things kind of came out. Oh, she was a big thing on big dog on this show. No one knew Mariah was a big dog. But anyway, Carlos was talking to Mariah. He interviewed her, and they kind of got on touched some of the tidbits about the reality TV spectrum, about her coming back, and she's actually getting her own show. And she said, yeah, she'd be willing to do that. And also, what did she think about certain things with regards to getting new spice into the show, right? So, just to talk about it first, Carlos King was stating that he felt that when a reality star is on top is when it's time for them to ride out, right? That's when they need to leave the show. When they're at the top of their game, that is when they need to leave. I kind of beg to differ with that. Him and I agreed on a lot of things, like we had a conversation and we didn't. But our perspective was similar, except that this is the reason why, right? When it comes to celebrities, they live a pretty flamboyant lifestyle. They like the nice cars, they like the nice homes, they have real mortgages, baby. So they can't just be walking away for $2 million and stuff. Like he said, 2 million, you making $2 million in 4 months. Where they do that at? People complain about how much money they making when they filming a full movie. Taraji, she had an issue about the color purple, and the money she received and some of the other different movies she was in when she wasn't paid properly. So if you're gonna make $2 million in 4 months, that ain't easy to walk away from. Because this is the thing I'm saying. My husband always say, if you're subtracting but you're not adding, you're gonna have a problem at the end of the day. So what I'm saying is that they have flashy, flamboyant lifestyles. They be faking it to they make it too. Because they be around here, you be thinking a lot of stuff they have going on be legit and stuff like that. It doesn't. They be going around here, they be copping the fake sometime too. But you be thinking that everything that they wear and everything they portray, they lease vehicles, they don't own them. It's just like a facade. But they paying for those facades. Them homes be $1 million, multi-million-dollar homes. So you can't just be walking away from a check, Carlos. That's where we disagree. It's just like in regular corporate America. If you got a job, you have bills, you depending on a check for the bills, the water bill, the light bill. So you can't just walk away at the top of your game. You got to negotiate things. But I guess when they came back with the contract, Kandi wasn't happy, so she decided to bounce. But one thing I think that they're missing, even though they may not get the money all the time that they want in the contract, they are able to advertise their businesses, put it out there in front of millions of viewers. That is huge when it comes to deciding, okay, this contract, what I want or not. So I don't know what the details were, but whatever it was enough for Kandi to leave. But a lot of people may be like, bye-bye, Kandi, because she was a little boring. Her storyline had sunk. It wasn't like it was interesting, like when her auntie them were on the shows. The aunties were on the show, it was funny. Mama Joyce, she gonna keep it 100 because she love her baby. So she gonna be there 110. I feel Mama Joyce because I'm the same way. When they kind of was sprinkled into it, I get it. That was different. Kandi let us all into her life. But at some point, you got to have something different or people going to get bored, especially when they have other options. So I agree it was probably time to go. I don't think it's going to impact Bravo Network at all. I think them coming back with new faces, new vibes, not getting rid of everybody, because you can't just get rid of all the OGs. You got to do it like, okay, if you still delivering, we're going to keep you in there to keep the foundation steady. And if you're not, then we're going to nudge you on out. But if you still contributing, like I feel like Marlo, I like Marlo. Marlo is good. I think she was stifled a little bit when she couldn't really bring her full self out. But so hopefully she'll come with a little bit more. Kenya, definitely, she's good still on the show, honey. Kenya got to get her coins going and keep them going. Like I said, Kandi, she kind of fizzled. Who else? Who else was there? Sheree kind of, after she by Sheree, they kept giving her that option to kind of get it going, and she couldn't get it going. I think it was time for her to kind of Don't get rid of her right now, though. Give her another season. Let's see what she come with because Sheree be needing them checks, honey. Because when she was filming with her daughter one day and she was talking about when them bill collectors call, she don't be answering the phone. She be ducking and dodging. And I was like, oh, Sheree, know what tis time it is when it comes to the real world. She may have been super rich one time, but she know really what time it is. So Sheree needs that check, y'all. So don't be getting rid of Sheree. I like Sheree on the show. She comes a little bit, but Sheree, you got to come with more than the grandkids. And ain't no more Martell storyline. At least I don't think. But I don't know about that. But you know, the grandkid and all that, that's boring. We need something hot. You know what I mean? So whatever you got to do to make yourself juicy, if you need that check, you're gonna have to come with it, baby. But really, Portia coming back. I said that if you look at my show on Monday, I was talking about Portia coming back. Portia would be good for them. You know, that would have even been a good show too for Sweet Tea. Sweet Tea would have been good on Real Housewives of Atlanta because her personality fits well over there. Married to Medicine, she gonna get hers over there too. But I think Real Housewives of Atlanta would have been good for Sweet Tea. But Portia coming back, Portia, what is it, Gubadia? Her coming back, yeah. That's gonna give them a little spice they need, and maybe one other person. Other than that, I think they're gonna be okay. We gonna miss you, Kandi. We appreciate what you've given, but it's time to ride. It's time to ride. You know what I'm saying? Time to ride. Time to ride. Time to ride. So basically, you know, I think that it's very important if you're a reality show cast member that you have to keep yourself going. That's number one. You got to keep the audience interested. If the audience is not interested, then they're going to find a way to get you up out of there. You know, and just to kind of touch on Mariah, I said Mariah was on Married to Medicine, right? They end up nudging her on out. But one thing, Mariah is good for TV. Nene is also good for TV. I feel like I know Nene is not going to be able to come at the Bravo because Andy, with all the stuff that went on with the lawsuit and all that, I understand that's not an option. But I hope somebody opens up a door for her because she's good. She has the it factor. So I hope something opens up again for Nene. Okay. When I think about Phaedra really, Real Housewives of Atlanta, get her back over there, Bravo. Get her back over there. Her over on Married to Medicine is a no-no. She's like a circle in a square. She just don't fit. It's like she just floating around being a friend. I don't like that for her. She's good. She gives you that whimsical, like they say, kind of thing. She kind of spices it up. She knows what it takes, and she got the fly factor, but she not on that show. She needs to move off of that show, and get back over to Real Housewives of Atlanta, especially since Kandi gone, and let's get it popping. Phaedra needs to be over there, or they need to get her some lawyer show or something in Atlanta, like get the lawyers out of their box and they little circle and let her be over something like that. But she needs to be back over. She needs to be back over Real Housewives of Atlanta and off Married to Medicine. That is just my opinion for whatever it is worth, and I'm sure y'all agree with me, right? But Mariah, like I said, was on Married to Medicine, and she's was talking to Carlos, and they were talking about they was kind of agreeing and talking about some of the other little reality shows, and she too agreed that at some point that they need to get new vibe, new blood up in there. And so me and Mariah, we were right here. I agree with her. We were on the same vibe when it comes to that. If your storyline is not giving storyline, then you gotta go somewhere else with that. Find something else to do. So anyway, yeah, just want to let you know, come back real quick and let you know, it was correct that she is not coming back, unfortunately. I guess for some people. I don't know. I think it was a good move. I think it was a good move. But Kandi's not coming back. Has been confirmed. She will not be back this season, upcoming season with Real Housewives of Atlanta. We're gonna stay tuned because I'm sure she has something that she's gonna do, but that's not gonna be it. So she was also not fired. She walked away. They kind of nudged her on out the door. They was ready for change, and I feel like they did it through the contract, like a lot of companies do. All right. So anyway, just want to come in and holler at you, bring you back up to date on everything that I talked about on Monday, and I will be back probably later today or tomorrow to give you some more vibes on what's going on. Okay. So until then, peace out and enjoy your day. Goodbye.